G'day YouTube, Dishy here. This is a video response to PavlovSandor's sub contest. Congratulations on your subs, brother. I know you're going to have many more coming your way. Keep up the great work. He's got a couple of questions and requirements to enter his contest here. So the first one is you must be a sub as of the 4th of March, which we qualify. Must be a video response. Ta-da! Now his first question is, explain your YouTube name. Now, as we all know, mine's TheDish. It's a bit of an acronym, really. My nickname is Dish. People call me TheDishD, DishD, all sorts of variants, but it's DishD. And basically, it's an acronym for dishonorably discharged. Now, I've got to make it very clear that I wasn't. I was not dishonorably discharged, but what happened is that, long story short, I was in recruit school. We had just been finished having about 2.5 hours worth of punishment detail being done in our division. I can't remember what for, by this absolute asshole. Like, I'm talking an absolute bastard of an instructor. Like, he had the meanest attitude I've ever come across in the military. He was a prat. Anyway, he seemed to get off and giving us punishment and everything else. Anyway, we just finished doing our punishment runs. We were allowed back up in the barracks, so of course everybody's sort of trying to chill out and relax, and radio's going and everything else. And this was the time when I'm pretty sure it's the Arsehole song by Timothy Leary, I think it is. Anyway, that was on the radio, and of course I happened to yell out at the top of my voice at this particular instructor's name. He's an asshole, in time with the music, and I did that twice, and within 2 seconds of it leaving my mouth, we suddenly had this instructor bellowing outside of my window. The bugger was standing on the other side of the window, calling for us all to fall back in on the playground, where he proceeded to absolutely fly off the handle, swear that he's going to punish us all for the next couple of hours, blah blah blah, carrying on like a little Napoleon. So basically saved my fellow classmates and recruits from being punished. I stuck my hand up and basically said, do you want the person that called you this to step forward, which he did. So I did, so therefore I had to go stand up in front of about 250 plus other recruits and have this wanker tear strips off me for probably about 15 minutes straight, spitting in my face from an inch away. So that was pleasant. Basically, he threatened to put me up on charges, threatened to take me around the back to beat the crap out of me, blah 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 blah. Long story short, I had to go in front of all the commanding officer and all the other officers and explain why I said what I said and all the rest of it. I was pretty much threatened with dishonourable discharge. Sorry, guys, we're back. So as I was saying, I was hauled up in front of the commanding officers, and basically, long story short, I was threatened with dishonourable discharge within the first 4 weeks of joining the military. And so of course that pretty much the fact that I volunteered and said that it was me that caused the trouble and everything else, they took a little bit of leniency and let me go. But of course every instructor, officer and lower rating then from there on started calling me DishD for dishonourably discharged, or the threat of being dishonourably discharged. And being that the military in certain areas is a small community, wherever I went everybody knew who I was by my nickname. So that's my YouTube name, TheDishD, for dishonourably discharged. Not something I'm exactly 100% proud of, but hey, that happens. Now the other question that Pavlov asked for is the most abusive thing you have done to a blade. Now I will admit that when I was a younger lad, not my first sack, but my 13, 14, 15, something like that, had a Swiss Army knife, which I thought was the bee's knees, and basically put it through the ultimate destruction test. Pretty much just tried to destroy the damn thing by using it as a throwing knife. I used it as a pry bar to open tins and paint cans, coffee jars, the whole works. I mean, I abused it, never cleaned it, never oiled it or whatever. And I'll let you know, that thing never let me down. So I know that Swiss Army knives are good stuff. From the abuse I definitely gave that poor blade. But yeah, that was my worst. I've never really treated any sort of equipment that bad outside of the military since. But yeah, used to absolutely wail on a Swiss Army knife. Third part is the last thing you dropped in the toilet. Now I've got to try and keep this clean, so no bodily functions are going to be discussed here. That's generally what I drop in the loo. But actually, I can remember the last thing that I dropped was out in the pubs, having a few bevies. Got a text message, I think it was, pulled the phone out while I was taking care of business. Motor skills are not the greatest after a few beers. Drop the phone straight into the toilet, plop plonk. Then it was that awesome decision of when you're a little bit tipsy of going, is it really worth getting the phone out of the loo? Again, long story short, I did get it out, cleaned it all up, disinfected it, pulled it all apart, let it dry, thinking, no, that thing will never work again. Guess what? 2 days later, after letting everything dry, thing worked fine, and has so for the last couple of years. Still got the phone somewhere. But that was the last thing I dropped in the toilet. Contest ends on the 14th of March at midnight. He has some fantastic prizes, so if you're already a sub of Pav, better get your videos in shortly. Again, mate, congratulations on all your subs. Fantastic giveaway contest you're running here, bro, and it's a pleasure to call you friend. Alright, my friend. Oh, the other thing is he asked for a shout out. Now, I'll put the annotations into the description box below, but my shout out is for a fellow Australian. His name is Aussie Mark 909. He's just starting out on YouTube, doing a few knife reviews and things. Always great to support a fellow Australian. I'll put his annotation to link to his channel in the description box below. But anyway, brother, I hope that qualifies me. I hope that wasn't too boring for everybody else. Anyway, best wishes to everyone that enters. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Catch us later.